There's this very soft side to you. I saw you the other day when you were being pursued by the photographers, and a wee laddie says something to you about Manchester United, and you smiled and you turned around to him and you said, "Thanks very much, son."
Yeah.
I saw your children waiting at the windows when you were coming home. They were delighted to see you home. Well, what about all the little kids in Ireland who have you as a role model, who love you, who would love to see you back in the World Cup, and who are absolutely appalled that this row has taken place and don't know what to say?
Exactly. Well, you know, do you think I've enjoyed the last few days? It's been hard. Of course it has. I'd love to play in the World Cup. I played in '94. It was fantastic. 8 long years ago. And I've done no more, no less than the other lads in the squad to get us back. And I would love to play. Of course I would. But, you know, again...
And everyone in the country, from the Taoiseach down, would love to see this resolved. You know, there are 13, 14-year-olds who tell their parents, "I don't want to play football anymore, I'm depressed."
Well,
kids who wear your, you know, jerseys with your name on it, they're absolutely haunted by what's going on. They don't know what to make of it.
Well, that'll pass. People have to get on with their lives, you know. It's a football tournament. My loyalty was questioned. I was called a liar in front of a group of people. And then after that, of course, there was more to it. As I said, I didn't realise it was a press conference. I think within a half an hour, maybe less. And I know the kids in Ireland, and I feel bad for it myself. Of course I do. But I want to go back to Ireland. I've got my family over there. You know? But, you know, I have to stand up for what I believe in. I'll live and die by my actions. And I will continue to do so. I'll tell my kids what's right and what's wrong. But what happened to me was wrong.
But you're an Irish man and very proud of it. You know the country we live in. We know in the north we're asking people who have been at each other's throats for years and years to make compromises, to say I'm sorry, to put up their hands, to shake hands. And here we have our football team riven by division, destroyed by division. Is there no way that you, Mick McCarthy, the Irish footballers, can give people an example and show what people in the north and people in the country are trying to do, that you're prepared to do the same? Or is that alien to you guys?
No, it's not. As I said, if for 1 second, if I thought, since I got back home the other day, for 1 second I thought, maybe, Roy, maybe you were a little bit out of order, or maybe there's a way back, I'd be back on that flight. No doubts in my mind about that. But I went to my room and we had 3 players in a press conference. Within 20 minutes to half an hour of it. Sitting there behind Mick. We'd all spoke about it. People look at them as role models. They're cowards.
I know that in football, the guy who pulls out of a tackle or the guy who compromises is seen as weak, that he's not the kind of guy you want in a team. But in life, sometimes it's the guy who compromises, the guy who offers the apology, that he gains strength from that.
I agree with you 100%. Life's too short. Life's too short.
Would it not be a very big thing for you to do?
If I went back, I couldn't give 100% for my country. I couldn't. Under what circumstances? When players turn around and said they never heard anything like it in their lives. And I expect them to stick together. I'm well aware of that, you know. It's a squad and they're all backing Mick. But when they spoke to me, you know, when they had their chance to speak up, they didn't. But I can't worry about them all. I can look at myself, you know. I can look in the mirror and say, I've done the right thing. Nobody wants this. Of course, as you said, there's people all over the world and they're killing each other and stuff, you know. Nobody wants this. But I have to stand up for what I believe in, and I will continue to do so. You know?
But when rows are taking place, harsh things are said on all sides.
I agree with you. I've had arguments with it. You know, but thousands of people, my teammates at United, all the time. It's soon forgotten about. But when I go back to my room, and 1 or 2 players come to my room, 2 players came to, it was about Ian Hart came to say goodbye, fair play to him, Jason McAteer, Niall Quinn and Steve Staunton came, but at the time I didn't know they'd been to a press conference, and they thought I went too far, and I said, I respect your opinion, but, you know, I'm sticking to my guns. Alan Kelly came to say that he'd been to the press conference, which, again, when they were talking about a press conference, I actually thought they meant that morning. I thought they couldn't have had enough time to just speak to the press, but when Alan explained to me later on that night that they had it straight away, I thought, I couldn't believe it, but I thought, I better leave it go now because everything's done. And 2 players came to my room, and they said to me, we respected everything you said, Troy. everything you said, but we want to play in the World Cup. And I says, I appreciate your honesty, thanks a lot, lads. And they said, if there's any consolation, when you left the room, I think they said, Niall Quinn said, look, lads, we need to stick together, blah, blah, blah. And there was a round of applause. And they said, if there's any consolation, we didn't clap. And I thought, you know, fair play, lads, you know, but obviously the damage is done. The next morning, I heard them all leaving. They were leaving at 8 o'clock. Mick Byrne waking everybody up. Of course, I didn't sleep too great. And I've been involved in Ireland since I was 15, Irish under 15, 16s, youth, 21s, the senior team. And I heard them all leaving. Mick Byrne knocked at the door and I opened. He says, we're away. And he shook his hand. I said, stuck his hand out and said, good luck, Mick. No, I felt I deserved better than that, you know. I know people in that squad a long time, staff as well. And when I walked out of that room in the meeting, a private meeting, but I knew that was the end of it. I knew there was no going back. Because, again, yeah, I've got my pride, I've got my principles, and I won't have anybody accusing me of these things. And people said I question Mick not being Irish, which is nonsense. Nonsense.
But Roy, there are signs up in shops all over the country. Come back, Roy. We want Roy Keane. The general election result was forgotten very quickly when this broke out. This is a huge talking country. And I'm sure everyone from your family to the people who have supported you over the years, they'd love to see you back. They'd love to see you make that gesture. They'd love to see Mick McCarthy make the gesture. They'd love to see the players make the gesture. They'd love to see the best representation of Ireland possible. And they think Ireland, without you, given the role you played to get us here, that it's not the country we want to follow. It's not the team we want to support.
Well, I just hope that people just get behind the team. I think that is the most important thing. I spoke to my family and they were supposed to fly over, but they're not flying now because they backed me because I told them what happened. I might be a lot of things, but I'm not a liar. And I told them. I had to arrange my own flights coming back. Things like that. I waited in the room for 2 or 3 hours. Nobody approached the room from the FAI. So that's why I rang United and asked them to book a flight to come back. I remember all these things. Nobody was in the room when I walked out. And people had an opportunity to speak. They had the chance and they wouldn't. They had the chance. I understand some of the younger players obviously not wanting to say, you know, because it was a heated exchange, of course it was. But some of the senior players, they knew the score, put it that way. And they let it all happen. And as when I walked out that door, that was the end of it. That was the end of it. But the ball's not in my court, you know. And as I said, I didn't want to go through the media. I didn't want to be doing this interview today. I didn't want to speak to the Mail over the weekend. But I got back into London Saturday morning. My solicitor was there at 6 o'clock in the morning. And he said, Roy, you know, you need to say something because there's an imbalance to the story. And I thought, that was right. And I heard obviously some of the stuff that was coming up about me which wasn't true. A lot of nonsense about my wife. Nonsense, you know. And I thought, I need to speak out. That's why I'm doing the interview today, because the people of Ireland deserve to know the truth. But again, it's all about opinions, and people say I probably shouldn't have reacted the way I should. But in hindsight, of course, it's a great thing. But I'm human. And as I said, I think I was forced into a corner. I really was. That's my honest belief. And there was only one way I was going to come, and that was out fighting. There was only going to be one winner, and that was Mick, of course. And I understand that. He's the manager.
But sure, everybody is a loser in this current situation. There's no winner.
No, I think hopefully the team will do well. Got some good players, and hopefully they will do well, and I'm sure they will.